Okay.
Shall I make it this morning?
No, not yet.
I know yesterday you had a late bar mitzvah.
Okay. Okay, we're holding on the bottom of 72b. Yeah. Thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. It's supposed to be learning. We should have to get some English immediately. We're learning Lili Nishmas. So have a gold Basra Yamin. And the son of Seven. And for Shlema, Ben Sarah and Gedali gets a little husband. Okay. Start with two statements of Rav Huna. First one is sorry?
Shalom Akami.
Shalom. Okay. So, how do you know? Are you downstairs? I hear someone
coming.
Okay. So it's 7 lines in the bottom. Is that Shalom? Shalom's here. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna says, Charav hamorka v'sadna shikma. These are these two trees that aren't sold together with the fields. The grafted carob tree and also the sycamore tree. Good morning, Shalom. Teres ilan alav, teres karkalav. They have like this double standard. It's considered a tree and it's also considered property. Teres ilan alav, it's considered a tree. Why is it considered a tree? Because if someone consecrates 2 trees or sells 2 trees plus this one, so yesh karka. That's the halacha when someone sells 3 trees. So it's considered a 3rd tree to combine with these trees that the person gets property together with. If someone buys 3 trees, then he gets the land surrounding the tree. Teres karka, why is it considered land? Or in what way is it considered land? Lemisdavin agav ara. Because if it would be a tree, then when you sell the field, the trees are sold with the field, but this is considered like a separate field, which is not sold together with this field. Because you sell one field doesn't mean you sold the other. So this tree isn't sold together with it. So it has a double standard. On one hand, it's considered a tree. On the other hand, it's considered a separate field. Rav Huna also says, you have a bundle that's so large that it's the size of 200 sa. I'm sorry, not 200. 2 sa. Masayim is 200. It's a sasayim. It's only 2 sa. 2 sa. It's as large as 2 sa. It's 144 eggs each. So that's 288. It's the size of 288 eggs. So teres aimer alav, teres gadash alav. It has the laws of a bundle and also has the laws of a granary, a silo. So teres aimer alav, it's considered a bundle regarding the laws of shikha. Shnei aimrim shikha. If you have 2 bundles, that would be considered forgotten. If you forget 2 bundles in the field, those are considered forgotten, and you have to leave them for the poor. If you leave 3 bundles, then you can go back and take them. So shnayim v'hu, let's say 2 bundles plus this large bundle. So einin shikha, and it's not considered shikha. See, it's considered a bundle because that's considered 3. There's gadash alav, but it's considered a silo. If you leave 1 bundle, it's this big bundle. You leave that out. That's not considered a bundle that you forgot in the field. This is considered the silo that's in the field. It's not considered the bundle. Okay. That has a double standard. Amar Rabba bar bar Chana, Amar Rish Lakish. Rabba bar bar Chana says the name of Rish Lakish. If you have one of these trees, the grafted carob tree or the large sycamore tree that was cut down already and then it grows back. So then, and you consecrate it. So Banal Machlekes, Rabbi Nachum, Rabbi Yesi, Rabbanan. You consecrate the field that it's in. This is a Machlekes between Reb Menachem bar Reb Yosi and the Rabbanan. Gemara asks, "Leib machlekes Reb Shimon v'Rabbanan." Now our Mishnah was a machlekes Reb Shimon and the Rabbanan. Why are you saying Reb Menachem bar Reb Yosi? Kamash Malan, it's coming to teach us to Reb Menachem bar Reb Yosi. Reb Shimon's really that Reb Menachem bar Reb Yosi follows the view of Reb Shimon. Doesn't mean the halacha is like him. It probably means the opposite, because we wouldn't go like Reb Shimon, like the Rabbanan. Okay. Hadran Allah Hamaycher Es Abayas. That's the conclusion of the 4th chapter. We start the 5th chapter. Hamaycher Es Asfina. Someone sells a boat. What happens? The last chapter was someone sells property, real estate. Here we're talking about someone sells a boat or other metaltlin. Yeah, could be. Could be we mentioned it. Machar Es Atayran. Someone sells a boat. Machar Es Atayran. Together with the boat comes the mast. The mast is the big pole, goes up straight on the center that holds up the sails. Yeah, tall pole. The sanes and the sail. The saugen and the anchors. The skalaman higan isa and everything that makes it go. The oars. You don't sell the crew, the slaves, or the sacks that hold the merchandise, or the merchandise itself. That's not sold with the boat. When he buys a boat, he doesn't buy the merchandise that's in it. But if he says it to him, it and everything that's in it, that's the case, and then everything is sold. The Gemara now explains what these words are. Tyran. What is this? Tyran, the mast? Iskaria, it's a mast. We have actually a pasuk that says, Eres Malvan Lakhu, Lasis Tyran Alayach. A cedar tree from Lebanon. They took to make a mast for you. Okay. So we know that Tyran means the mast. Nace is that's sold together with the ship. What is that? That's Adra, that's the sail. It also says in the pasuk, "Sheish berikma mimatzrayim haya nefarsha chlias l'chalanes." Linen embroidered from Egypt was spread out to be for you as a sail, as a fabric, right? So we know that this is a fabric. It's obviously the sail. That's the only fabric on the boat. Ugin, what are the ugin? Tani Rabchia, Elu ugin inshallah. This is the anchors. It says in the pasuk, Alahin tishaberna, tisaberna adashe yigdulu alahin ta'agena, the built to Yislish. This is Nami talking to Rus. Says, are you going to wait for my future children to grow up, that you'll marry them? We're going to hold you back from you being with a man. So ta'agena means to hold back, which means an anchor, which holds the boat. Manhigin, what are the things that make it go? These are the oars. From the oak trees of Bashan, they made your oars. There's another source that says that this is what it means. It says, it came off the boat, so everyone was holding oars. Then Rabbanan was taught in a brayso. If someone sells a boat, sells together, he sells with the boat, what's it called? The gangway, the ramp that takes you off the boat. And also there's a fresh water pool in the boat for drinking water, because you can't drink the water in the ocean, so they have to take along fresh water. Reb Nassan says, if someone sells the boat, he sells together with the boat, he sells the rowboat, because he can't dock the boats and you can't go all the way up to the shore, so you have to dock the boat out somewhere out when the water is deeper, and then you climb down into the rowboat. Simcha says, someone sells a boat, he sells together with it the small fishing boat. Amar Rava says, it's exactly the same thing. Reb Nassan that says that you sell the rowboat. So Bavla, he was from Babylonia. So Karle Beitzis, he calls it a rowboat. Damri Inchi, Butsis and Demation. It's the rowboat of the river. So it's these little boats that can go in the small rivers. Sumches, the Bar Eretz Yisrael, Sumches that comes from the land of Israel, Karle Dugis. He calls it a fish boat, like from the word dug.
Dungy.
What is it?
Dungy.
A donkey? Is that a same? The dinghy?
Dungy.
Is that the word for it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, what's with the Chachamim cause of you? Rabbi, would be like Rabbi Akiva because he's going generous, but if you just want to sell the boat, make money, you didn't care about selling the boat.
Shalom is asking that according to those opinions before that said that someone that's sells something doesn't sell it so generously. So why over here does he sell the boat together with it? The maybe he's just selling the larger boat. In other words, is this a specific opinion of Rabbi Akiva or something? Yeah, your father approves of the question.
It seems like, like when we spoke about the land, how they do certain things. Have a plus.
Right.
And then there's a goal,
Uh-huh.
and also like the other press, how certain parts of the other press were included.
Right. Yeah, you follow Shalom. Hillel's saying that there's certain things that just have to go. It's like selling the car. You get the seats and you get the engine. It's like let's assume that goes along.
It's a pretty good deal. That's a good deal. Yeah,
So the psukim are just translating the words of the Mishnah, just giving me another source to tell me what those words mean. Okay, that in the end they'll go quickly into exile with these pots of they call it a pot, but it's like these boats of dugis, these dungies. Is that what you call it? Okay. Amar Rabba. Now starts the famous Gemaras of Rabba Bar Bar Chana. Starts over here. You familiar with this? This is it. Where did you learn it? At school? Taught you how many of them? There's like something like 20 or something. Okay. If you want to know anything about the Agadah, you can ask Ibn Kali. It's very, very difficult Gemaras to put together with reality and how exactly this works. Kabbalistic things probably. Rabba says, I'm a Rabba. So it doesn't say it's Rabba Bar Bar Chana, it just says Rabba, but I think we assume it's Rabba Bar Bar Chana. Later on it's going to be Rabba Bar Bar Chana. There's a Shtoli Nechusa Yama. The sailors told me, Hi Gala, the Matfalasvina. This wave, tidal wave that can sink a boat. Huh? Mischazi, it appears, that's the next one. It appears, Kitzitzisa Denura Chivarta, like the fringe of white fire, Beresha, at the top of it. Which Rashbam says that's an angel of destruction. Find us, Rashbam. Yeah. I don't have the numbers in here. Machinan le ba'alvasa dechak gala ekia asher ekia kashem tzvakes amin amin sela benayach. But if you hit this wave with a club, that on the club is engraved the names ekia asher ekia, which is I will be as I will be, which is the way Hashem appeared to Moshe by the burning bush. Kashem tzvakes. The God of the hosts, Amin Sela, if all this is engraved on that club, Benayach, then the wave will subside. It'll go down. Yeah, the commentaries say that these Gemaras are classic commentaries say, either referring to the nations of the world that are coming to attack the Jewish people, and they look so powerful, but then when you hit them, they disappear. With the what are you hitting them with? The names of Hashem that were used in redemption. Ekia Shekia. Okay. The other commentaries say that it's referring to the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara always tries to destroy the person, and somehow you fight it off. Amar Rabbah. Rabbah says Reb Daniel is going to have some good interpretation.
I was going to say from Rabbi Nachman. Says it's white, the white cross. It's like a Navera that pretends to be a mitzvah. Like the Yetzer Hara disguises itself as a mitzvah. And you have to hit it with Torah.
So what do you do to get rid of that?
You hit it with the Torah. The staff is the Torah.
Very nice. Reb Nachman has in his the Maran, he has a big section, or at least the beginning section of it is explaining these Gemaras. Yeah. Is that correct, Daniel? It's right at the beginning.
Right.
Amar Rabbah. Rabbah says, "Ishtoli nechusayama." The sailors told me, "In gala legala tlasmea parsi," between wave to wave. Yeah, there's 300 parsos. Parsas, I think, 4 mil. 1,200 miles, according to Shalom, between each wave. Veruma de Gala Tlasmea Parsi, and then the height of the wave is 300 parsos, 1,200 miles. Zimna Chada Havyazin Ba'urcha. One time we were going on a trip. The Dalina and Gala Adachazinan Bay Marbata de Koichvazuta. One of the waves lifted us up until we saw the resting place of a small star. What's the first star? The closest star to our out of the sun. What's the name? What's the name of the first star? I don't know. Huh? It has probably just some number. Okay. So Vahavili Kimivsar Arban Grivi Bisra de Chardla. And it's serious something. And it's it was like 40 core of mustard seeds, right? That's the area. It's like it was, I guess it was that big, 40 core. What is it called? Proxima Centauri. Okay. Vidalin Tvei, if it was lifted us higher, Maklin and Mehavli, we would have gotten burnt from the heat of the star. Ramile Gala Kala Chavri, and one wave said to its friend, Chaverti, Shavkas Midi Balmad Leshatafte, did you leave anything in the world that you didn't destroy? Denaisi Anav and Avde that I could go and destroy? They don't sound like good people over here. Good, these are the bad guys. Amalei, so that he says back, he says, look at the strength of your master. You can't even pass a thin line of sand. As it says, do you not fear me, says Hashem, if you don't tremble, that I put the sand as the boundary to the sea. It's a everlasting statute that never gets passed. Yeah. Daniel, how do you want to explain this one? It's again I think the commentators say it's referring to the nations of the world with Gullus, or it's referring to Yetzer Hara. I think one of the commentators says that it's referring to someone that studies Torah. That maybe he could get arrogant. lifts himself up to. Yeah. Okay. What does it say in the Quran? The Quran would probably give like a quick summary because the others are going to be lengthy.
What?
Do they give a quick summary of this? The number of 300 is symbolic. Potential power. No, they don't give any commentary. Okay. Tzaddikim are compared to stars, as it's written in Daniel. Hillel tells us. So yeah, I think the Gra said that this was referring to someone that was studying Torah, gets lifted up, and he thinks he's one of the stars because of his arrogance. He thinks he's a tzaddik, but he's not really holding there. Okay. Amar Rabba. Rabba says, this is the commentary over here. It says it's Rabba Bar Bachana, like we said. Rabba Bar Bachana says, Lidi Chazili Horman Bar Lilas. I saw a Horman Bar Lilas. Lilas, we know, is that the demon, the feminine.
Or the frog.
That's coming up next. Feminine demon, and Horman would be the child. Now, there's two interpretations here. The Rashbam says it's either Horman, that's how we heard from his father, but he also heard another pshat that it's Hormes. Which was also a demon. It was running on the top of the wall of Mechuzah. And a horseman was riding an animal underneath him. He wasn't able to catch up to him. One time, he had saddled two mules. The Kaiman Atre Gishri Rugnag. And he was on two bridges of the Rugnag River. And and he was jumping from one of these mules to the other, from one bridge to the other. Nakatre Maski the Chamra Biadi had 2 cups of wine in his hand, something like that. And it was pouring from one to the other and one to the other, back and forth. Not even a drop fell on the ground. And that day, it was a stormy day. It was going up to the heavens, going down to the deep. Until the government heard the Katlua and they killed him.
Wow.
Rashbam says that it was the government, it was the head of the demons, the king of the demons, because he was showing off too much. The demons aren't supposed to show off to the people what they can do. Other commentary, the Rashbam that says his next commentary says that it was actually the Caesar that heard about this, and he was afraid that the demon was going to take over the kingdom, so he had him killed. That's common for Caesars to kill someone they were afraid was going to take over the kingdom. Then he says, interesting, he says that this demon was actually a product of a relationship between a man and a female demon. That's why he was living amongst the people. So he had this, he had an identity crisis. So, what is it? The straight, is that what happened? Yeah, someone said that this is like Harry Potter. Jeff doesn't want to get quoted. Okay. It comes up in Sanhedrin. What does it say there? Do they quote it? Yeah. Okay. Any interpretations, Daniel?
I don't think Rabbi Nachman brings that story.
Uh-huh. Okay, Amar Rabba. If you want to read up, and I mean, there's the Masha that explains each one of these, and the Sagra that explains, the Ben Yehoyada explains.
I don't know if it's probably.
Yeah, I have the Rashbam, but the Rashbam just says like this short introduction. He just says that these stories are being quoted to tell us the reward for tzaddikim in the future, or to explain psukim and Eiv that speak about big birds and animals and great fish, and everything needs to be studied. That's what the Rashbam. That's his introduction to this. He doesn't tell me these are parables. He doesn't tell me what the parables are referring to. Now, we were holding in case story number 4. Amar Rabba Lididi Chazili Arzila Bar Yaima. I saw this very large Arzila Bar Yaima. This is the Re'aim. What's the Re'aim? Is this like a unicorn or something?
Frog.
The frog's coming up. Sorry. One more.
Yeah.
What's
Kosher.
the big
so-
fish?
That's coming up after the frog. So this is this big, I don't know, antelope, something. The unicorn, Bar Yaima, 1 day old. The Havi Kahar Tavar. It was as big as Mount Tabor. But Har Tabor Kama Havi. How big is the Mount Tabor? Arba Parsi. It's 40 according to the Rashash. 40 parsais. Mashache de Tzavre plus a parsi, and the width of its neck, I guess of its shoulders, is 3 parsais. Ubei marbata deresha parso palga, and its pillow, where it puts its head, is a parsa and a half. Rama kufta v'sacha liyadana. It released some excrement, and it dammed up the Jordan River. Yeah. You got to give me some commentary. What does it say over there? So does it explain this at all?
But, well, as harshness.
Yeah, this is the shortcomings of a vain Torah student. First, he studies. At the very beginning, he imagines himself to have reached the heights of scholarship. Feel that he can already voice his opinion and argue. The first day, he's fighting like a re'aim. He's 1 day old, and Mount Tabor was a candidate for Matan Torah, but it was disqualified because it was due to its haughtiness. So. True understanding comes with age. And this student thinks he has already reached the level of a 40-year-old. The length of its neck was 3 parsais, means that it's proud. Its head is in the clouds. So what happens to him? When he sees that he is not acknowledged, he becomes jealous of other Torah scholars and resorts to negating them. The Jordan is in the story represents Torah scholars. The 1 day old Re'aim fouls them and dams their flow. Whoops, I just lost it. Okay. What happens at the end?
Have a good Shabbos. I'm taking off now.
Okay. A good Shabbos. Slacha. The blockage is only temporary, and soon the blockage is carried away with pure water flows forth again. Okay. Interesting.
They mentioned the 40 years. I think we speak of
Yeah, it's on Pirkei Avos, but yeah, the Gemara says that. The Omar Rabba Bar Chana says, "L'di chazili ahu akrukta, the havi ki akra da agruna." I saw, what did he say, Shalom? Frog. The Aramaic for a frog is the croak, akrukta. Is that a onomatopoeia? It sounds like the frog. Krukta, crooks.
Croaker. Croaking is.
The Haviki Akra da Agruna, which is like acre of Agrunia, which is like the size of a city. The Akra da Agruna Kamehave, how big is that city? Shitin Bati has 60 houses. That's not so big. What's the Tanino Bala? Well, it's big. It's big for a frog. Yeah. It turns out that the serpent comes, Tanina, or a big fish or a serpent, and eats the frog. Also Pushkansa, Ubala Tanina, and then this raven comes, a female raven, and swallows the serpent. Salik bi Yosef bi Ilana, and then it goes and sits in the tree. Tachazi, Kamanafish Cheli Dilana, look at how strong that tree is. Amar Rav Papa Bar Shmuel, Rav Papa Bar Shmuel says, Ilai Havi Hasam Lehemne, if I wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't believe this.
Wow.
Yeah, here they say that, I mean, I think the Marsha says that this is referring to the nations. There's one nation that destroys this nation, and the next nation destroys that nation, another nation destroys that, and then it ends up that the tree, it probably represents the Jewish people. They have the strength to endure all of these nations. Amar Rabba Barbachana, we're up to number 6. Zimnachada Havikas Linan Besvinta. I was one time going on a boat. The Chazina no Kavra the Yasfala Achla Tina Usais Usyay. I saw this fish. We saw this fish that this mud eater went into its nose. And the water pushed it and threw it into threw it onto the shore.
Died when
Yeah, died on the shore. And it destroyed 60 cities. 60 cities came to eat from eat sushi from this fish. And then they had herring. 60 cities came and salted the fish. From one of its eyes, one of the eyeballs, they made 300 barrels of oil, fish oil. So they call it the cod liver oil. What is it? Omega-3. The Chihadra and the Basra Tracy Archishata, when he came back after 3 years, they were building huts out of the bones. They were cutting the bones up. And they were building those cities to rebuild those cities that got destroyed. Yeah. I don't know the explanation for this, but I assume it's similar to either the nations destroying the Jewish people or the Yetzer Hara or something. That's Amar Rabba Bar Chana says there was on Hebrew books there was a commentary on Rabba Bar Chana's by J.D. Eisenstein in English. And he did it historically. He said it was talking about like this emperor and that Roman emperor and this Roman emperor, and it was like referring to all of those. Like he had a historical commentary on each one. You have to look him up. You can search in Hebrew books. Eisenstein, yeah. He has the Eitzer Yisrael. I have his other books. I don't have this one, but I think when I was younger, I printed it out once and I tried to read through it.
Tried.
Yeah. I probably did like 1 or 2 stories, and then, I got the point. Amar Rabba Bar Bachana, we're up to number 7, right? Zimnachada, because Linan Besvinta, one time I was going on a boat, Bechazinu Kavra, saw this fish, the Yasvala Chalsa Gabe, that had sand on its back. The Kodach Agma Ilave, and it was growing like a like a garden, a meadow on its back. So we thought it was dry land, we thought it was an island. Salkinan, we got off. We cooked and we baked on it. When it started to get hot, it turned over. We loved up and If we wouldn't have had a boat nearby, we would have drowned. And I remember as a kid, the rabbi of the shul and the principal of the school I went to he used to quote this Gemara. It was in his drushes. His name was Rabbi Stryker. He was talking about how the people, they settled in Germany and they thought that this is going to be their homeland and it's dry land, and they started to get, to get comfortable, and then all of a sudden it turned over, and not for the state of Israel. That was something like that. That's the classic. Okay. Yeah. Or not, he probably said the state of Israel, but I'm sure others would say if not for the Torah, if not for the yeshivas, or whatever you want to fill that. The boat. What's the boat? Not for the Gemara. Okay, we're up to number 8, right? Amar Rabba Barbachana Zimnacha da Havayazlinan Besvinta. One time I was going on a boat, the Sagoi Svinta bein Shitza Lashitza, the Kavra, plus Yemit plus Lelvasa. I was on a boat, and the boat was going between two fins of a fish. And it was going 3 days and 3 nights. Yeah. And it was going through this. We're going different directions. It was going upstream. We were going downstream. You want to say that we didn't travel very far? Yasser Ravdimi Amar, when Ravdimi came, Amar Kamecham Kumkima Demaya Maskan Shita Parsi. It was going so fast that it was for the amount of it takes to boil a pot of water, we were already traveled 60 parsois. That's how fast it was going. The Shadia Parsha Gira of the Kadmalay. We're going so fast that if a horseman would shoot his arrow, we would get there first. So you think we weren't moving between these fins? No, it must have been massive. Amar Ravashi says, "Ahu Gildana Diyamavi." That was this one. That was considered a small fish. Just like Trey Shaitzi that has 2 fins. Interesting. Rabbi Barbachana says, was one time I was going on a boat. Tifra, the koyim ad katsula b'maya. I saw this bird that was up to its ankles in the water. What's those birds? Flamingo. Flamingo is actually kosher. Yeah. Yeah. Someone in the school, something they were giving out like flamingos. So someone one of these chats, why are you giving non-kosher birds? And it turns out one of the Gemara Chulin says that the flamingo is kosher, or one of them is kosher. Anyway, it's in the water, Reishi Berakia, but its head is in the sky. Vamrinan, we thought Lekamaya, maybe there's not a lot of water there because it's only up to its ankles. Binan Lochos La Kuri Nafshin, we wanted to go down to cool off. Nafik Baskal of Amarlan, a heavenly voice came out and says, don't get off over here. Because there was a carpenter that lost his axe. That was 7 years ago. And hasn't reached the bottom yet. Wow. It's quite deep. It's still sinking. Hasn't reached the bottom. But that's not because it's deep. But that's because the water is so turbulent that it keeps getting, washed, pushed around. But that's why they shouldn't get off, because the waters are too turbulent. Amar Rashi says, "Hu ziv shadaihu." That's the ziv shadai. The ksiv is ziv shadai imadai. That's then I guess that's the name of the bird. Ziv shadai.
Yeah, name for birds.
Yeah, that was the family bird name, right? Like there's a pigeon or this. It's not like the name, like a pet bird has a name. Okay. Number 10. Amar Rabba Barbachana. Rabba Barbachana says, one time I was going in the desert. The Chazinen Hanu Avzi, the Shamti Gadfayo Mishamnayo. The Kanagdi Nachli, the Mishkamitasayo. I saw these geese that there was from their wings was dripping oil, and there was a river of oil that was going down under them. Amina lahu, I said to them, Islam were we going to have some of you in the world to come? I mean, that looks like really rich, a delicacy. such oily geese. Chada Dali Gadfa, one of them lifted up its wing to show what we would have in the world to come. Chada Dali Atma, other one lifted up a leg to show what we would have. Gyasala Kami de Rebbe Lazar, when it came to Rebbe Lazar, Amali, he said, that the Jewish people are going to have to pay for this because they're delaying Mashiach, and that the reason why they're so fat, and it's because of how long they've been waiting they've been growing like this. Okay, let's leave it over here, up to the Simon. Okay, have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.